right, welcome back to another episode of Cash Flow Bros, where passive income makes massive income. My name is Malik, real estate coach Carter, my partner.
And my name is Justin Smith, also known as JES Capital Investments on Instagram. And we want to welcome you to another episode of Cash Flow Bros.
So on this episode, it's going to be special. Got a young lady that I've known for a couple decades now, and the first one of my college classmates that I've ever interviewed. I'd like you to give a big eagle welcome to Candy Cash.
Thank you.
So this your first ever interview?
The second.
Your second? Okay.
Second, yeah.
Okay, I was hoping we'd be the first. Make it real special.
First official.
The first official. Okay, the podcast. So, the Cash Flow Bros we're about is, earning passive income and different forms of cash flow. And I think what you're doing is different than anyone else we've ever spoken to before in your market. So do you want to explain a little bit about what you do?
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for having me on. I am the real Candy Cash. Like I said, I've known Malik for a while, and I'm not sure if you knew quite what I did, but I am a licensed real estate broker in Florida. But about a decade ago, I took a hiatus with my best friend and moved to Jamaica. So I lived in the Caribbean for 5 years, working in timeshare. Always wanted to get into the real estate game in the Caribbean. And then I actually won a free vacation while working in timeshare in Jamaica to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, that next year, and ended up seeing how the real estate market was going. Then after that, moved to Florida. But when I moved back to the States, I realized that I probably made a mistake and wanted to go back to the Caribbean and set up my business. So in 2019, I moved back to Punta Cana, to Dominican Republic, to set up my own real estate brokerage. So I am happy about that. And then that's what I've been doing ever since.
Oh, you set up your own shop. You didn't join another company.
No, and I actually had an opportunity. One of my mentors, I would say, in the Caribbean real estate game is another Black American woman who actually brought a franchise in 2006 that I was actually going to work for. But then through the course of me living and working there, so I had a different experience than most people because I didn't just come on vacation. Mm-hmm. When I got off the plane and saw, it was a different thing than being on vacation. I'm living in lifestyle of the rich and famous for a third of the cost. So I learned how to set up my bank accounts. I'd already taken Spanish in school, so I didn't have that language barrier like most people would. But it really gave me a crash course in how to live in the Dominican Republic. So I decided, even when I was in Florida, that I wanted to set up something in the Dominican Republic and eventually Jamaica, but just dominate the Caribbean. But DR was the first location because I saw what was happening investment-wise in that country. So that's why I wanted to start there.
Wow. Okay, so let's ask you this. So why open your own brokerage rather than join another one?
I have always been an entrepreneur. I'm an advocate for that. So when you have that in your blood, and my parents, they retired educators, living legends in our community. And my father had one of the only driving schools and other businesses in our small town. Even when, going to college, I knew that I was going to be an entrepreneur. That was always what I wanted to do. So I just didn't know how that road, how long it would take me to get to that path. But, this has been a long time coming. So I explored working for a franchise. When I first got into real estate, and got my license in Florida because I always wanted to get licensed so I would know real estate.
Yep.
I think that was very important, even though there's no license law in Dominican Republic, even though that's another conversation. I knew that I had a different vision. So for me, it's not just about the real estate sales. It's about building a brand that others can look up to and say, hey, I can do it. And it took time. It wasn't easy, in that country, setting up a business. And I'm just now getting to the thick of my business. It's just now growing.
So, Candy, I'm sorry, Cash.
Candy Cash.
Candy Cash,
Yeah.
the original Cash. So how long it sounds like you were an agent first before you made that transition to wanting to become your own broker, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So how long were you an agent?
All right. So my crash course in sales, I've done, after college, I did everything, retail, social services. And then I took a timeshare position, which was like vacation club, while I was in Jamaica. My best friend and I had moved to Montego Bay to start a business at 29.
Mm-hmm.
So we basically quit our jobs and moved down to set up this business. We were going to open up a souvenir shop. She ended up going back to the States, and I stayed and got approached on 3 different occasions about working for a vacation club. And I was like, I don't want to sell timeshare. But it ended up working out really well, made really great money, met great people, and that taught me how to sell in a different way, selling on passion versus it being logical, okay? So when I moved to Florida, when I thought I wanted to come back to the States and, settle my life, and I took a job offer at Wyndham, which is a timeshare company, I hated it. And I said, I want to let me get into residential real estate. Let me learn it. I wanted to get my license in the States. Florida is where I thought would be a good area for me to concentrate, even though I'm from North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And I got licensed and signed up with Coa Banker. As most people, when you first get into the real estate game, you think you need to learn from a branded name. But I tell people, before there was a Keller Williams and Coa Banker, what do they have that we don't have? It's either you're going to build their brand or you're going to build your brand. And so even through the course of me getting licensed, and I'm a strong networker. I mean, I've even told Malik I'm down here this weekend, for a major event going on. And that's one of the things that really helped, because I didn't know anybody in Florida. I hadn't been to Orlando since I was a kid, Disney. So when I took that job offer, I was moving from the Caribbean back to the States, which was a complete culture shock. Because once you live that lifestyle in the Caribbean, it's hard to come back to the States, even though a place like Florida. So I really started boots on ground, networking, getting involved, knowing about the associations, and not just taking the tests to be, a real estate professional. I knew that I wanted to get my broker license, so I got that. I knew I wanted to get my CIPS designation, which is a Certified International Property Specialist. I knew that I still had that vision of coming back to the Caribbean to set up ground and getting into some other projects. So for me, learning a few months, I mean, honestly, I don't want to say I didn't learn anything, but when I was at, the branded name, my first deal I did on my own. I didn't ask for any help. They said, I thought you've been in the business for 20 years. But I attribute that to what I learned from the guys that I met in timeshare. These are all guys from California that went to Mexico in the 90s selling. I don't know if you've ever been to Mexico, but when you get off the plane, it's on with the timeshare. And those guys will teach you how to make money in 30 minutes. Like I'm closing deals for $50,000, $60,000 in 25 to 30 minutes. And it was so easy coming back to the States when people had to qualify with credit, because people in the Caribbean paid with things with cash. All of my deals, even now, have been cash. They don't finance anything. So you have to, it's a different mindset in the Caribbean. So when people have, outside of the people coming down to invest, the people that live there, when they have accumulated certain amounts of wealth, they actually have that. And it's old money, especially like in Jamaica, it's old money. So that's generational wealth, like staring in your face.
So for people buying a DR, is everyone like all the condos, everything is cash?
Okay, so the Dominican Republic, just to give you a little history lesson, predominantly, it's the island of Hispaniola, so they share that island with Haiti. And the people that colonized Dominican Republic were from Spain. A lot of Spaniards, a lot of Europeans, and they've been knowing about these countries and investing there and living there for decades, So those people, they came and they cultivated the land and they paid cash, and they kind of what the East Indian people do when they have their own families working these businesses, gas stations, convenience stores, and they pump the money back in and send it back home. So over the last 10 years, I would say, so if anybody's been to Dominican Republic but not lately, your mind will be blown. You have no idea. It is night and day from 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And the government, the original destination was Puerto Plata, which is in the North Coast. And now the government has revitalized Dominican Republic, so the focus has been on the eastern part of the country, which is Punta Cana. Okay, so that's where all the major development is. That's where all the hotels, the St. Regis is opening up. They have the Wynn Hotel Group out of Vegas coming. All of the major brands are there. So with the growth, it kind of just boomed the last 5 years. Dominican Republic has been the number one traveled Caribbean destination the past 3 years in a row, even pre-COVID. And now that COVID, we're trying to come out of it. We don't know what's going to happen this next round. It's still one of the number one travel destinations. The land price was always cheaper. So with people coming down, especially, not just Canadians, but American people, they had to kind of revamp and acclimate to the way that we purchase things. And, most of us in the United States, we finance. Now, just to give you a little small snippet of how to finance in the Dominican Republic, it is not at 100%. It's not at they don't have any of our loan products like FHA and conventional. You have to get financing from a bank there. They do look at similar credit scores and bank statements, but they will only finance you either 50% or 70% of the purchase. You still got to have some skin in the game. You got to have some cash. So, if it's a resale, which is something different, you need to have 100%. I had a conversation the other day with some clients, and they said, hey, why won't the owners finance you? I said, well, they don't have to. They know what they have, and they know somebody will come in behind them and pay cash, so they don't need to sell it to you for, and you finance through them. The new construction is where the deals are.
The new construction.
The pre. So you're gonna buy pre-construction and get the tax exemptions and get, the payment plans with the developer or with the bank. So when I consult people, I also have the consulting business as well, cash consulting. So I kind of take a different approach with my clients. I'm not opening and closing doors like they say in the States that people think that that's what realtors do. I'm consulting you. I'm there every step of the way. And, I think my clients appreciate that because I am someone who takes a consultative approach. And I know certain things that the average person that comes down and say, oh, I may want to sell, wouldn't know.
So let me ask you this. So how would let's say someone wanted to invest in a DR, right? Let's say, they have a few, say they have like $20,000, $30,000. Could that get them in the door at all, any capacity?
Well, I'll tell people this. It was just like in the States. If you have something, you can get something. It just depends on what that something is. So if you tell me, and I go through, I qualify my clients. So it takes a lot. You have to qualify to work with me. This is not a first-time home buyer market, but it can be a first-time investors market. It is a heyday for that. So if you have 20, 30 grand, the average price now for a new construction home is about $150. That might get you, because it doesn't matter whether it's a 1 or 2 bedroom. You're looking at the location, like we say in real estate, location. So you want to look at an opportunity zone, right? So anything in Punta Cana that's in certain areas will be an opportunity zone. That can be from $90,000 up to even $2 million. Now, the key is you can have the down payment to reserve your unit, $5,000. You can say, oh, I have that all day. You come down, you see something, it's an open listing market. So multiple people are listing that development. Okay. So if you're coming down and you say, hey, I want to, or before you come down, you want to hold that unit, $5,000 in 30 to 45 days, really 30 days. Because again, you may need more time, but the developer doesn't need more time. People are selling from all over the world. Europeans have the cash money, so they're not going to hold out on that unit if you don't have that 10 to 20% initial down payment. Then you're on a pay schedule until delivery. So it can go something like $5,000 to reserve, 10 to 20% down payment, 60% during construction, which is 18 to 24 months out typically, and then the balance due upon delivery when they deliver the keys to you. Okay? That is when the contract commences once you make the down payment. So if you're not sure that you want to do this or you don't know how you're going to source that money, the financing, you can get that later. If you put that $5,000 in and you change your mind,
You lose your $5,000.
yeah, it's like it's rolling the dice.
So basically, what I'm hearing is to get into the market in DR, you have to have at least a deposit to
Absolutely.
hold the property, and then you have a period of time to basically satisfy the balance. So you just gave an example of new construction, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, so like say a two-year period. How about if an investor had a property, like a distressed property, a single family? Is that process still the same? Like a deposit of $5,000, and then like say the balance is $60,000. Like how would that process work?
For like a resale, like
right. So not from a developer, from an individual.
Just regular
so
individual.
let's say, okay, give me a scenario. So let's say you own a property and you want to sell it to your friend
To anyone.
or to anyone.
Yeah. Right. Say I have a property in Dominican Republic. It's a house. I live here. Mm-hmm. I want to sell it.
Okay. And the buyer is coming with what? 20, 30 grand?
Yeah, the buyer's coming with $20,000, $30,000.
Okay, and how much is the distressed property?
Well, you have to. I don't know.
You gotta tell me. I'm not for that.
Well,
market.
It's not really a lot of distressed properties.
Uh-huh.
I mean, in Punta Cana, it's a buyer's market, and the distressed properties would be somewhere out in the rural or urban areas where it's not really opportunity zone until that area builds up. I mean, everywhere on the island of Dominican Republic is an opportunity. There's 7 major airports.
Okay, so let's use this example. You said, let's say you can get a solid property. You said about $150,000. That's a 1-bedroom. Mm-hmm. Like say a 2-bedroom. What?
In 200? A good location, but close to the beach. Yes.
Okay, close to the beach.
You can
maybe
get some less than that, but let's just say close. Let's say where you want your Airbnb desirable location.
Okay. So it sounds like is financing even offered over there?
So 2 choices.
Okay.
Bank financing.
Bank financing.
Now your bank in the States. Okay, you go in and you ask them, hey, I want to purchase something in Dominican Republic. You can ask that question. What do you think they're gonna tell you? No, or either they need some money. They need some skin in the game, right? Mm-hmm. So you're not going to be able to 100% finance anything. Mm-mm. You either can do the banks in Dominican Republic, mm-hmm. which takes a trip to the bank. You're going to be in there all day. Okay. But I send people paperwork and get people prepared because I feel like knowledge is definitely power. And the more that we're empowered and we know things, the better we're able to make movements, right? So
yes.
50 or 70% is what the bank is going to finance you. Certain banks do different things. So I don't know. Let's give an example. Scotia Bank, who has a partnership with the Bank of America. A lot of people know Scotia. Mm-hmm. And, some of the banks are in the States as well. Mm-hmm. They may finance you at 70%, mm-hmm. But they don't do a 30-year mortgage. So it's still going to be anywhere from 5 to 15 years max. Got to have at least a 640 credit score, I believe. 2 years bank, same kind of banking criteria because they don't know you. They're taking a risk to finance a foreigner in the Dominican Republic. But one of the things we didn't talk about real quick as to why the new construction, what the incentive is to invest in Dominican Republic.
Yes.
So the government created something in 2011 called Conventur, which is a 15-year tax exemption where you don't pay property taxes for 15 years. Okay.
Similar to the tax abatement in the States.
But this is 15 years.
15 years. Wow.
You also get certain paths to residency. Let's say you want to get, especially what was going on last year during Black Lives Matter and COVID, my phone was ringing off the hook. I was in the Dominican Republic during the quarantine. It was not a pretty process. And right now, 70% of the population in Dominican Republic is vaccinated. So that country did a shutdown. We couldn't go to the beach. I mean, I did have anxiety and I felt like, I'm in prison. I can't move. But it worked. I mean, you can't go anywhere without a mask. They closed all the clubs down. None of the nightlife that we're used to. If you've ever been there, it's one of the best nightlifes you'll ever experience. I thought Jamaica was fun, but Dominican Republic is times 10 with the nightlife and the music. And none of that was going on until after they opened the airports again last July. And then slowly, we just got off a curfew 2 weeks ago in Dominican Republic. So
now it's back at it. So what kind of return? Let's say I do spend $150 for pre-construction. What kind of returns can I expect?
All right. So everything we're going to talk about is pre-COVID, right?
Pre-COVID, yeah.
And after COVID. So I know some people are like, you can't say that now. It's COVID. Okay, but well, if you look now, almost everybody you know is going to Dominican Republic or Mexico right now, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Tulum
Every
Tulum's.
I have Tulum too, but so as soon as we were able to get outside, people couldn't wait to get on that plane.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the airport now from New York, from Philly, the plane is packed.
I'm on there.
It's packed. So so the return, because it is a buyer's market, is building up. There's so many projects going on right now. You'd be overwhelmed. I mean, I have over 500 listings, and I haven't even put even half of them on my website that I'm revamping because I'm getting calls just based off of just, I want Punta Cana. The return is from 6 to about 10%. Okay, and a lot of people say, wow, that's not that much. But if you can see what's going on with how you base that is, and that's just to be realistic. I don't tell anyone you're going to get a 15% return. The highest returns we're seeing in the Caribbean right now are from Mexico. Mexico actually return is about 12%. Okay. Tulum and Playa del Carmen, but it's a much harder, a much tedious process to buy in Mexico. Okay, so you typically that is 100% cash market, and you do have to set up a trust. Dominican Republic is more investor friendly. Over 100,000 Americans live in the DR, and even more so that are Black Americans that live in the Dominican Republic, from Atlanta, from Houston, from New York. Mostly the people that I know, everybody is from the States. And I think because of the ease of, purchasing and investing, the process is not as hard as it sounds. You either go in and get banking finance, or you finance from the developer.
Mm-hmm.
So who's buying? Like, is it the people that are buying just for Airbnb purposes, or people that actually use it as a second home?
I'm seeing people use it as a first home.
As a first
home.
And the people that are using it as first home are Black and brown people.
Wow.
You would be amazed how many of the new friends that I've met, because when I was in DR 7 years ago in 2014, there was no other Black Americans in that area. Like, I was with French Canadians and Russians.
And this is Puerto Plata.
No, Punta Cana.
Punta Cana, okay.
Well, Bávaro is the town area, but it's all Punta Cana. And so the dynamic of the city has changed. So people have started, a lot of people, like I said, from Atlanta, a lot of people from Texas, New York. So you see a mix. You see people that have sold their homes. I have a couple of friends that are young retirees that are 50, going on 30, that basically sold their house and moved to the Dominican Republic because they can live that same lifestyle cheaper, and they can live well. I also have friends that are have second homes that come down every other month, that are retired and come down from New York every other month. And then you have people that are investing for Airbnb. And the reason why I said that return, I just said modestly is 6%, but it's a little higher than that. If you go and price a hotel room right now in Dominican Republic, you know about how much that would be a night.
No idea.
No idea. Okay.
No idea.
So that's a little homework assignment for you. So when you see how much that is per night, and now when you buy a condo in Dominican Republic, you don't just buy a condo, you're buying a resort style experience. So what they've done is created these projects that have pools, that have infinity pools on the balcony, that have access to the hotel. So if you buy in certain areas, you have access to the all-inclusive, you have access to private beach club. So I tell people it's not the same. Even they say, I can get a higher return in Florida. It's not the same as buying in Florida. Right now, I'm working with some investors that have purchased property in other places. And like I told Malik, you have to have a desire to diversify your money. And last year, especially what was going on in the States, and I saw it, I have all the American English-speaking channels. My phone was ringing off the hook with people from New York, all over the world saying that they wanted to move, and get out of the country. And that was Dominicans that were living in the States, Black Americans. So you have a hodgepodge of people that are investing in that country.
So now, in Philadelphia, I'm working on some new construction projects, right? Instead of buying with a developer, like, would I have an opportunity to buy land and develop on my own?
Absolutely.
Not with a massive developer budget.
Absolutely. And that is the next thing that I'm working on, getting some people to see that it is very easy and easy from the standpoint of setting it up and just the overall cost. And it's fairly inexpensive to get into the development game in Dominican Republic. Matter of fact, that the woman that I said that was my mentor that owns a franchise, she actually has a development project. The first Black American woman, female, that has a development project. By the way, she bought the land 10 years ago, because you don't have any time frame so you can buy land now and wait. But it's not a lot of areas by the beach available in Punta Cana. Punta Cana is almost built up, so you have to go a little further north. I will get you guys a map so you'll see where the next hotspots are, which is where my eye is looking. A little further up, a lot of development projects are going up a little north of Punta Cana on the outskirts. Same thing that happens in the States, But you can get in for a relatively inexpensive price, and the construction costs have went up worldwide. They went up. But you can get some grade A materials and finishings that you couldn't get in the States, but for the cost that you can get them in Dominican Republic, because everything's imported from Spain and Italy. So you can get
the quality and finishes the material is probably better quality also.
Absolutely, and you can get them at cost. But you also have to have, and this is where it comes into play, you do have to have links to get, when people go into these countries, and you'll see it all the time, there's a lot that we want to develop in the country. We have to remember it's not our country. So I have submerged myself and have built a team of people that I have connections with so I can get certain things, because you have to know some Dominican people that are in certain positions, just like you would in the States if you want to get certain permits and things, You
got to build your connections.
Correct.
In that area.
And it's not easy in the Dominican Republic. Okay. It's a beautiful country, but it is a cutthroat country. And, it's so the people are nice, but, you have to be 5 steps ahead. So whatever you think from the States, I've seen it all the time. I'm from here. No, you have to live it and experience it and spend some time and get submerged, and you will see how it is. And learn some Spanish. I always tell people learn Spanish.
Americans refuse to learn any other language.
Listen, you go to the Dominican Republic and you need to go to the bank or you need to order something, you will tap back into your Spanish real quick. If that translator will be your best friend until you take a course.
All right. So listen, what are the top 3 things people need to know before they move to the Dominican Republic?
Top 3 things I would say, something about the culture. Going on vacation and staying at the all-inclusive and going in the pool and staying there is not in the country. I've met so many people, because I do staycations. So I work hard, I play hard. I'm at the resorts, I'm hanging. I have a full experience. So, how many people I've met and they say, yeah, I've been to the DR 5 times, but you've never gotten off the resort. Well, we're scared to get off. And why are we scared to get off? So know the culture, understand the culture, do some research. Learn or try to learn a little bit of Spanish just so you can also, even if you don't need it, I mean, a lot of people speak English, but a lot of people do not, so that you can feel like, so people can feel like you're at least attempting to learn the native language. Those 2 things. The third thing would be, don't go down, keep open mind. I think a lot of times we want to, and I've seen this happen in this, in Punta Cana now, we're not making that America. Go into that country and keep an open mind and learn. Go out of your community. Go out of the interesting thing about Punta Cana is you can see what you want to see. You cannot see what you don't have to see. So if you want to be in your bubble in a ritzy area or somewhere that's like a playland where you don't see people that are impoverished and see the wealth disparities, you don't have to see that. In other places, you can see that intertwined. But in Dominican Republic, in Punta Cana, you literally can go and just be in your own world and never see that if you don't want to see it. And so that's a false sense of reality.
So let me ask you, so how about, how is living away from the beaches? Like, if you want to get to the Dominican Republic, but don't want to be with the tourists, like, how is life like that? And is that that a really cheap life also?
I actually had some clients that I showed them some property. They were from Atlanta a few months ago, and I think the reality of DR was different than what they thought. It was a lot of condo style living, and they said, hey, we kind of want to retire and have kind of that villa that we thought we'd see on TV, that would be with around a bunch of horses and land. There's different communities. So everything is not going to be the hustle and bustle of the beach. There are different areas that have different kind of lifestyles. And then if you choose to live a little further out, just know that if you do decide to build a house out in the middle of nowhere, you have to think about things like this. As you're getting older, and if you're an expatriate living in another country, how far do you want to be away from your neighbor? You know, if something happens and somebody gets sick or anything can happen, you don't really necessarily want to live 20 miles away from the grocery store, from the EMT and, you know, all of that, you know.
So what about in San Diego, Santo Domingo, in those areas? Are they at the same price as Punta Cana?
All right, so Santo Domingo is hot. A lot of business travelers come down to Santo Domingo. There are direct flights as well, and that's like living in New York. You know, 4 million people live in Santo Domingo, subway system. Once you go in that city,
subway?
Once you go in Santo Domingo, you're ready to leave.
You
Because if you want to live like that, you might as well live in New York. But they're beautiful high rises, lots of business opportunities. I mean, it's a major city. It's the biggest city, largest city in Latin America. So Santo Domingo's buy-in price for condos are right at $90,000, and I'm talking about a high-rise penthouse with pool. Very nice.
$90,000.
Buy-in for Santo Domingo, and I mean, I'm talking about a nice condo that's like we have in the States or high-rise. You know, so
hold on. Do short-term rentals or Airbnb
absolutely
good in Santo Domingo? Yeah.
And not to give her a plug, but I'm sure you all watch. I don't know if you watch Love and Hip Hop Miami. No. I don't know if you know Amara La Negra, one of the stars from DR. She started doing her Airbnb. I hit her up 2 years ago. She didn't. She said she already had somebody, but she's gotten into the Airbnb game in Santo Domingo and buying land. So Airbnb is on fire in Dominican Republic. Whether it's Santo Domingo, which is mostly the business travelers and people coming in and liking that area by. I'm sure you heard of Boca Chica and Juan Dolio. That's the south. And then in the north, Santiago, which is about 4 hours from Santo Domingo, that's a large city. A lot of direct flights from like Massachusetts and Philly, and a lot of Dominicans fly into the North Coast. So it's opportunities all around the country.
Wow.
Yeah, so I told my wife, my son wanted to play baseball when we were young, before he was born, that we would move to the DR. That's what all the ball players were like. Now we're gonna move we're not moving to the Plata. We're gonna live in San Diego.
I actually have met some of the professional baseball players, like Robinson Cano, Fernando Tatis Jr. They all are from San Pedro. Remember Sammy Sosa?
Yeah.
That's about an hour away from Punta Cana. Very fun place.
So I mean, it's like some opportunity for Dominican Republic. We might need to take a class flight.
Well, just so you all know, I am going to put for this. So I am setting up some investor weekends. So it'll be 4 days, 3 nights. We'll have a little mini seminar. You can meet other investors and we'll hang out. And I want to do those starting probably later this quarter, early next year, some investor weekends.
So tell the people where they can find you. Are you on Instagram? Are you on Twitter? Tell the people where they can find you, because I'm sure our audience wants some of those $90,000 condos. I know I do.
Okay. So. All right. So, if you put in Candy Cash, I mean, how many people are you going to find? But anyway, I am on Instagram. It's at Ms_C_Cash. Ms_C_Cash, and then on Facebook, Candy Cash, LinkedIn. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, but that's where you can find me. And just reach out to me, and we'll set up a call.
And Candy Cash is her real name, and I'm trying to get her to change her name on Instagram to Candy Cash Flow.
I may do that.
Okay, listen, Candy Cash Flow, let's get it.
Listen,
get a Candy. Listen, it was great seeing you. I hope to see you homecoming. Not this year, though. Forget this year. This year's a wrap.
You're not going this year?
No. I don't want to see the. I don't want to see the Delta variant. I want to see Alpha Lambda, but I don't want to see the other Delta variant. The other Delta I'm cool with, right? So, you know, is that, and you know, I know you are Alpha Chi. Shout out to Alpha Chi too.
Alpha
you know.
Kappa Alpha Woman. Yes, I am. Absolutely.
You know, so some of my favorite ladies in the world. But I definitely want to thank you for coming down to join with us.
Thank you.
And listen, we'll be on a investor tour in the Dominican Republic coming soon.
Thank
Coming
you,
soon.
guys.
So signing off, this is Justin,
Malik.
and we are the Cash Flow Bros, where passive income makes massive income. So stay tuned.